So I want to start off by asking you a question, guys. How do you beat Real Madrid? Like, seriously. Like, type down on the comments right now, how do you beat Real Madrid? I'm a new manager, this is my first ever Champions League. I get drawn to play at the Bernabeu. How do I beat them? Because it doesn't matter how good of a team you are, how much of a lead you have, Real Madrid always finds a way. By the time I turned off the TV, this game was 4-2. I didn't watch the last hat-trick goal from Vinicius Jr. Yes, I am sorry to all of you guys that I didn't. I just didn't want to have any more Vinicius on my mind. But anyhow, 5-2 for Real Madrid. I think this brings them into a very nice state of mind ahead of El Clásico. They're going to be facing their fiercest rivals in Barcelona that for whatever reason Real Madrid always seems to have sort of this inferiority complex because they always feel small for whatever reason. You have 15 Champions League. Like, dude, come on. You're always going to be favorites. You're the biggest club in the world. Why do you feel so inferior? But anyhow, they're going to be coming now into this game feeling a little bit more, with their chest uplifted because they, of course, got a very good result in a very entertaining game of the Champions League. It was a classic, yes. I could say that. It really was. However, there are still some certain things that Ancelotti needs to write down because it wasn't, a perfect game. It wasn't like Real Madrid were playing like Barcelona in a sense because Barcelona dominated the games. Real Madrid had to get back into it because they were losing at a point 2-0 down. So, of course, there are certain things that Ancelotti needs to take care about if he doesn't want to eat more goals in the very first half. In the last 7 games, they've always conceded Real Madrid. So, yes, there's some things to worry about because right now they're middle of the park and their defense are not working like they should be. They're leaking too many goals, particularly in the very first halves of games. With this victory, as you can see on screen right now, Real Madrid situate themselves 9th in the Champions League. Still, of course, there are plenty of other games that need to happen for this match day, but they're in a very good position. If they continue to win, they have already taken, points away from one of their strongest opponents in Borussia Dortmund from pot 1. Now they can move onwards to, just be a little more comfortable. What you want in this Champions League is to be in those first 8 positions. You will avoid then playing that extra game of playoffs. So Real Madrid, being the club and institution that they are, they need to be here. I kind of almost thought that, not playing a group stage could be a little bit difficult for Real Madrid, but I guess that they don't care what format of competition it is. They will always show up. I thought that Real Madrid eventually, their form from La Liga won't necessarily transition very well to the Champions League and European competition. Maybe they will get found out, but I am wrong. They still managed to perform, even though they got a loss against Lille. I mean, the Bernabeu really is a cauldron when it comes to, Champions League matches and Champions League nights. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continue up this form, conceding some goals at the start, but eventually just coming back. Dortmund here are still position number 5 in the table, which is very good. Actually, it's very good. It's their first loss. They're still so far the highest scoring team in the competition. Compared, you think Real Madrid score a lot of goals. They only have 8 goals in this competition. Dortmund have 12. So it's still a very good position for Dortmund overall. This is what this new format allows you. The risks are not that high at the end of the day if you continue to have a good form, and Dortmund certainly has found it. So they're situated in the 5th position. That's very good for them. Now, taking a look at the starting lineups for both teams, this is what they decided to go with. And we were talking a little bit about how Ancelotti and his team were leaking a lot of goals. And I was quite surprised to see that there was no defensive midfielder in the starting 11 for Real Madrid. If you can take a look right now, we got Courtois, Lucas Vázquez, Eder Militao, Antonio Rudiger, Ferland Mendy, and midfield of Luka Modric, Federico Valverde, and Jude Bellingham. The most defensive player out of those 3 is Federico Valverde. Then up top, Vinicius Jr, Kylian Mbappé, and Rodri. We're talking about, the starting trio. That's basically what Ancelotti decided to go with. And I'm not sure if this is going to be the exact formation that he will play in El Clásico. I still think that the defense is okay. I think the defense is right and set and done for the El Clásico. The midfield, though, is where maybe some few things may change because, like I've been saying, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the first half, and Real Madrid really didn't play good. For Dortmund, we have Gregor Kobel, the Swiss goalkeeper, Julian Ryerson, Niklas Süle, Niklas Schlotterbeck, Rami Benzabaini, Felix Mecha, Marcel Savitzer, who went really like a ghost. He was ghosted throughout the entire game. We have Donjel Malen, who had a R9 sort of very first half, Julian Brandt, Jamie Gittens, and Sergio Girassi. Fun fact, is no longer Jamie Bino Giddens. He has only shortened his surname, so he's now only Giddens. The player that we kind of really have to single out here for Dortmund that wasn't present is Emre Can. It's quite surprising that he wasn't there, being their captain and all. But I think that Nuri Sahin read the game very well, that he needed those extra legs that someone like Felix Mecha could bring. And yeah, I think that it worked perfectly because he had a very good first half. So how exactly did everything go for Dortmund in the first half? How did they were able to get those 2 goals at the start? Well, because they controlled the ball very nicely. I think that even though Barcelona right now are not a team like that, we could see in a Clásico a very similar situation. So I'm very interested to see what Ancelotti does against it, because Dortmund controlled the ball, they controlled the tempo, they controlled the rhythm. They had more possession in that first half, and that allowed them to get protection with the ball. Real Madrid, of course, were able to always counterattack in those lapses, in those spaces that always happen between the defense and the goalkeeper when you have a high defensive line. And that's where Vinicius Jr., Mbappe played, Rodrigo as well, although he's not the fastest. But it wasn't a problem for Real Madrid. But the thing that really caught my eye here was that Dortmund were really calm about it. They were not worried about Real Madrid attacking them in a sense, because they do not care. They were patient. They were patient enough until they were able to secure that first goal, which came from a tremendous pivot play from Sergio Guirassy. We're going to watch the videos a little bit later in this game, but the thing that I wanted to mention is that Dortmund just managed to control Real Madrid. Real Madrid also forgave possession. They were also comfortable that they didn't need to recover the ball that fast into the game. But as you can see, even against a team like Dortmund, that went wrong because they conceded 2 goals. So if they do that against Barcelona, even with better players, a better team, a better system, a better manager, I think that might go even worse in the first half. So they certainly need to be a little bit careful about it. I think their midfield had a lot of control in it. So I do not know why exactly Carlo Ancelotti sort of forgave that possession to have someone like Luka Modric in the team. I would much rather see someone like Camavinga that would be a very big help trying to recover the ball very high up in the field, and then, shift it to someone like Federico Valverde who can put a long ball into Vinicius, into Mbappe, or to Rodrigo. The problem right now is that Jude Bellingham, Federico Valverde, they don't have that ability to, just ping passes like Kroos did. Modric can do that, but I guess that's why Modric played in this game. But yeah, they're missing a little bit of few pieces here and there. So it's going to be interesting to see how he molds, the midfield for El Clásico. I certainly think that Ancelotti might decide to go now with the injury of Rodrigo. That's a good news for them. Maybe he will try to add Modric in the team, keep Valverde, keep Bellingham, and then introduce Camavinga or Tchouaméni in it, and just keep Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. as the 2 players up front, trying to run into the space. So here, guys, on screen right now is the very first goal from Borussia Dortmund. What I was mentioning is that Dortmund just kept the ball very nicely, and they found here Guirassy with a tremendous, just so soft of a pass into Daniel Malen. Here, Real Madrid were caught a little bit, out the get-go. They were a little bit surprised. It's 30 minutes in, so it's not just very early. It's a difficult moment to manage in a game, You're already ending the first half. You're already thinking about what else is going to happen. And bang, Dortmund get the goal. They get the goal, and that puts certainly nervousness on players. But on Real Madrid players, I guess they just wake up for situations like this. But it always happens, You always think that Real Madrid are in crisis. And like my good friend Pablo says, they are never in crisis. So Real Madrid here, of course, they looked a little bit, for the gut punch, but at the end, they are the ones who laughed at best. So far, so good, I guess. And whilst we wait for the second goal, guys, if you have anything that you want to tell me, any feedback about the videos, be sure to let me know in the comment box down below. A like and a subscribe very much goes a long way, so I appreciate that very much. If you're enjoying the video, just a like can go a tremendous way. So I very much appreciate that if you leave a like. And also I want you to redirect you to, the game that Barcelona just played against Sevilla, and a preview that we did against Bayern Munich also on the channel. So if you want to have more information about that, links are going to be in the description down below. And also potentially, you can check the channel out and find those videos. But anyhow, let's move now into the second goal from Borussia Dortmund. That was also a wonderful piece of play from Daniel Malen. So here it goes. Normalmente, siendo tan bueno defensivamente que se le pasa y Jamie Bino Giddens scoring the goal. The game was also slow. Dortmund scored and the game continued to be slow. And I think that this slow tempo is something that we are not going to see at El Clásico. It could happen, if Real Madrid want to take the game that way. But Hansi Flick's team is so vertical. It's really vertical that will make it so it's things like this won't happen. You won't be able to catch Real Madrid off guard. But as soon as Real Madrid are connected, with their chip on, with the switch on, yeah, I think it's going to be a different rhythm. And when they dance, Real Madrid, they dance. So you want to keep it. I think Dortmund were lucky here in a way. That's what I'm trying to say. I think they were lucky because they caught them off guard. Real Madrid, when you are slow and patient and they're not connecting to the game, things like this can happen. They're not the most, I don't know what word to use, smart team per se. So yeah, that's what happened. Here you can see just on the counter-attack how open they were. Look at Real Madrid with all those spaces. If we have someone like Rafinha, Dani Olmo in those instances, that's a one-to-one, a one-to-watch, position in the area of the field for the game on Saturday. So just keep an eye on that because look at the empty, huge spaces that there are between the center backs of Real Madrid. Particularly the one that you also have to take a look at here is Lucas Vázquez. Just look at Lucas Vázquez where he's in the halfway line. And there's so much spacing behind still that it makes me wonder, someone like Rafinha or someone very fast like maybe Ansu Fati exploit that. So that may be a place where Ancelotti tries to fix something up, because Lucas Vázquez, even though he scored the winning goal, he has so many lapses of concentrations when it comes to defending, and things like this. A much better team can really pay for that. Even Dortmund pay for it here. So let's see how can a better team take advantage of this. And I don't know if you managed to see this, guys, but there was actually a moment in the game, in the very first half as well, where Real Madrid got 3 chances in the span of less than 1 minute. Here you can see them right now. It's a ball of Vinicius Jr. off the Bellingham, again off the post, almost a goal. This chance of Julian Brand that almost went in. So yes, this is a very important piece of information to understand, because against Real Madrid, you need to learn how to suffer. Dortmund knew that they needed to go to halftime with this lead, and they were very lucky to do so. Like situations like this. That was barely 2 minutes after they scored the second one. So they needed really to maintain the margin of 2 goals going to halftime. A margin against Real Madrid, minimum has to be like 4 goals, and then that's when you can settle, really. And that's where Dortmund got caught out. You have already got that margin, Nuri Sahin, the manager, you can be very happy that you have got this in place. The game now can turn to your handbook. And what's the very first thing that he does? He does a tremendous mistake, something very bad. What does Nuri Sahin do? Well, 10 minutes into the second half, he takes out Jamie Bino Giddens and brings on Anton. Takes out a left winger for a center back to form a back 5. That is such a cowardly reaction, and very early into the game. That is a mistake that a young manager, I think, made here, and that's everything I can account right now. Single-handedly, he self-destruct Borussia Dortmund and all their chances of winning this game as soon as he made that substitution. I mean, that is something you could do later on in the game, but not this early. Not 10 minutes into the second half. That is just... I mean, the tactics are going your way. Yes, Real Madrid are playing a little bit better, a little bit fresher due to you scoring 2 goals, but then you also got to play better. You got to boost yourself up, not change the tactics, because at the end of the day, something like this is going to happen. And how many times we have seen this picture, this movie, I've seen it plenty of times. No matter the team, no matter the color of the kit, no matter which Real Madrid players are playing, yes, they always come back, because if you show them too much respect and you act like a smaller team, you're gonna get hurt. And that's what happened with Dortmund here with this substitution from Sahin. And after that, it was all just Real Madrid. One quick spark from Kylian Mbappe that was having a very bad game, let's be honest. I mean, all the ball movements from Mbappe, they are really good so far. He gets the cross, Rudiger scores, clearance, and just an open net from Vinicius Jr. That's things that are going to happen for Real Madrid no matter the case. It always happens for them. So that's what I'm saying, guys. You need to play like a big team. So Barcelona never in a Clásico should try to, be a little bit, try to speculate. That's something you cannot do against Real Madrid. And after that, by the end of the game, this is something that as soon as you start getting that momentum, Lucky So is gonna go your way. And he does a 1-2 with Julian Brandt and gets an open net goal as well. Very good shot, let's be honest. He crossed it very nicely. So good on Lucas Vazquez. Yes, we know he's the player that can come in clutch. He has come in clutch several times as well. In the Champions League last year, I think he did against Manchester City, maybe. I think so. So, yes, Lucas Vazquez is always there, but come on. That 1-2 with Julian Brandt, like, come on. That is just luck in the purest sense of the word. By this stage of the game, Nuri Sahin tried to, fix his team, but now you don't have the right pieces to do so. I mean, he ended up playing Emre Can as a right wing back, and he will get caught out in counterattacks as much as he did for this fourth goal. That's humiliating. Vinicius Jr. running against, not even at full pace against Emre Can, he gets a hat-trick. And I think that's all the reason that he needs to, just sleep tight and win the Ballon d'Or, I guess. So that's another question to you guys. Who do you think should win the Ballon d'Or? But I do think Vinicius do deserve it. He was the best player in last year. But like I'm saying, Real Madrid needs very little to, come up big. So be very careful with this. Dortmund learned a very valuable lesson. I think today Nuri Sahin certainly learned a very valuable lesson. And yeah, let's wait and see what happens on Wednesday against Bayern Munich from Barcelona, and certainly on Saturday against this opposition. Real Madrid, dude, how do you beat them? How do you beat them? I have honestly no idea.